this video we're going to have a look at various types of fonts and how Dreamweaver uses fonts in website development. So what we can do is, if you select the drop down menu, we can have a look at the various types of fonts. The first thing you'll notice is that Dreamweaver always groups fonts together. A frequent question that I get asked all the time is, why does this happen? Why does Dreamweaver always group these sets of fonts together? You'll notice you've got Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, Times New Roman and Times Serif. So if we take this for example, the first font, what happens is that Dreamweaver, when we're selecting one of these fonts, it associates those groups of fonts in our website. It will either do that, one of two things. So we'll develop an internal style sheet. We can then remove and convert that internal style sheet to an external style sheet if we wanted to, which I've shown in previous tutorials. What happens is that when we're using these set and group of fonts, Arial, Helvetica and Sans Serif, and we then go live with our websites, and when the user on the other end is viewing your website on his or her machine, may not have Arial as the first font, and what will happen is that by selecting the group, it will automatically bounce to Helvetica. So it will look for Helvetica on the user's machine to render the type out inside the browser. If it has not got Helvetica, it simply moves down a third one in the list. So it basically moves down, the machine will move down into the list depending on what fonts are installed on the user's machine. So for example, if the user hasn't got Arial and hasn't got Helvetica, it will then bounce to and pick the first sans serif font it will find. So let's have a closer look at what sans serif and serif means. Well, one of the first things worth mentioning is that we've got this font called Verdana. Verdana was shipped originally with Windows platform, so it comes with Windows for those who've got Windows platform, unless the individual has basically gone into the font list and removed Verdana. Verdana was originally designed, if I remember correctly, to be represented on a computer accurately, to look nice, aesthetically pleasing on a machine. We've got Helvetica, however, is a different, it's mainly print-based font, and its designed originally was intended to be designed to look more aesthetically pleasing in a print-based medium. And it's also a sans serif font, means it doesn't have those curly squiggly lines. If we look at Times New Roman, Georgia Times New Roman is a serif font, and we can have a look at that again here. It's a serif font, Times New Roman. A serif font means it's basically made up of these squiggly lines. You can see I've got an F which I've made slightly larger so you guys can see at home, and it's got those squiggly kind of lines, so that's considered as a serif font. So we've got Arial is a sans serif, so it's a font that's not made up of all those squiggly lines, if you like. So that's basically it. That's why these fonts are actually grouped together. I generally used a combination of Verdana. I also like to use Arial because I find Arial's found most commonly on Apple and Windows platform. Also, Verdana, this option is really good because most of the PC users will have Verdana by default installed on their machine, and Helvetica by default installed on an Apple machine. So that's a really good selection as well, and Arial supports both platforms, I believe. And that's why it's really important to make sure you have an understanding. You can also edit your font list as well. That's why basically these fonts are grouped together in this way.